because it's the biggest gift that we could possibly have to have another woman running for president, running on abortion and the feminist movement, and running on. Hold on, excuse me, wait, hold on. We're going to believe all women, and I hope Christine Blasey Ford comes and endorses her. It would be perfect.
Well, so abortion's a percent of Democrats and 60% of moderates. Republicans hate it. It's got low ratings in Republicans. So swing in purple states might be relevant, but it's not going to affect blue. I would say this though, right, to the comment that like, I think Joe's correct. I think it is a good talking point. It's not something that's going to win you the election, like he said. Obviously, that's economy. If I'm hoping Republicans win, but if I'm a Republican, I'm thinking, okay, we gotta explain. Because I'll be honest, this is how open-minded I am. I'm someone who, fucking 3 lines into my bio says free Palestine without the P because they don't have to read the language. But when I look, and I was someone who thought the Iran deal was good. Not gonna lie, after some research, I no longer think it was a good deal, and I think Obama probably, when we were still in the region, should have prepared to go into Iran next. And I think the pullout weakened our position in the area, and I agree with Trump saying it's a bad deal. Funny enough now, he's caught holding the bag. He was like the jackass, and I don't agree with Trump like 90% of shit. But I actually think Republicans are doing a horrible job with the narrative around this, because like no one likes war and there's war fatigue, so they're backing off of it. But it's like, well, no. Iran has been caught multiple times lying to the IAEA and failing to disclose locations with uranium. Now, because our spy organizations are so sophisticated, we knew anyway. So we knew they were lying face to our face. And we caught them in the act multiple times. And then recently Israel was able to discuss, just before Trump ripped up the deal, Israel found that they kept all their nuclear archives since the last attempt to build a nuke. And that's not evidence they were going to, but it shows they weren't getting rid of the ability. And as soon as he ripped up the deal, they say, okay, we're going to start enriching. And they got up to 60%. If you look it up, once you're at 60%, you're days to weeks away from weapons grade. Like literally, like at 60%, you're days to weeks away. And you don't just jump to 60%. So that means they were lying and they were keeping stuff hot and ready. So, and of course they were. It's not the IRGC. And you read about these guys, they're fucking Muslim extremists. They're crazy.
They are denied by the others. They are extremists.
And my for boots in the ground, here's the problem, right? We just have so much debt. It's fun. I think we have to take, like, we're gonna be honest, like, Iran can't have a nuke. Like, Hezbollah's Hamas and the Houthis are already utterly horrible. If Hormuz proved anything, it's that we gotta finish the job. I get it, because I'm from the left, so we have this, like, no, man, diplomacy. It's like, well, you can't do diplomacy with ideological war. It doesn't work.
The real truth. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, there's
Oh my God! I can't believe this. What happened to you? Someone hit you?
No, I just did a little more research into this.
That's fascinating. Truth, I got a follow-up question for you. Here recently, Trump brokered a deal with Hamas that it now frees Palestine. Are you going to put your support behind Donald Trump?
Hey, if he actually accomplishes that, that's like America's dream for 70 years. I'll have to land for that.
Wow, is this Truth speaking?
Trump House 14.
He might have changed his deal.
Can I make a comment about a woman president? I'm waiting for Condoleezza Rice. So we have someone like that. Show me a woman that would be more capable than Condoleezza. I could give a shit what party she runs with. I just think that you asked her what woman would be competent, and I gave you a competent woman that should have been the first woman running for president. Instead, we ended up with a bozo that was.
Yes, she switches parties.
So what? Why is it so? Why so? Condoleezza Rice is a Republican.
Well,
So
no,
what?
I'm saying she would need to become a Democrat, and then the Democrats will bring her in, and she'll have all the establishment backing her. So I mean, it might be doable and workable. So I'd be in favor of that too. I hope that she does.
I don't personally think she needs to run as a Democrat.
She's not going to get it. She's not going to get it as a Republican. It's not going to happen.
You mean you wouldn't vote for? I know a lot of people who would absolutely.
Men are not, especially given the demographics right now, because you have a lot of baby boomers, who are they're getting older, so you got that aging factor going on. So now that you have more younger men that are coming up, the younger men are not going to want a female president.
They don't even know who she is.
Well, no, I mean, no. I'm just saying. Maybe, yeah, you can even say the idea, the name recognition.
Nobody under 30 knows who she is.
But again, just as a practicality standpoint, the younger men are not going.
You might be hanging out. You could be hanging out in places that aren't as evolved.
Well, no. I mean, I'm just telling you, like.
We don't all live in Texas, Christian. I'm telling you.
No, I don't live in Texas either. I don't live in Texas.
What I'm saying is, some of us are a little more evolved.
Well, no, I mean, I'm absolutely involved. I know exactly the position of the party. I know, and then
I
also.
didn't say involved. I didn't say involved. I said evolved. Evolved,
yeah. No, I mean, even being in the largest Republican county in the United States, no, like it's never going to work that way for the Republicans for various amounts of reasons. But it will work. It will work for the Democrats, because the Democrats support the feminism and believe all women and womanism and all it works. And all of it. It totally works.
Democrats have won.
not a Democrat though, so there's that.
No announcement.
So Christian, one of the things you said, which I totally disagree with, most Republican women will never get recognized by the Democratic Party. Condoleezza is a very well-respected woman, and I think that
You're in a matrix a little bit.
take the opportunity to run. Can you hear me now?
You're still breaking up a little bit.
Democrats have had women
Like what?
the Republicans.
Hold on.
That's what it is.
I'm just trying to get out of the matrix. Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
Let me help you, bro.
Is that
We're getting worse. Okay, Wayne figures that out. You just got off mic there.
I was saying,
Let's get this 30 seconds. Keep it. Go ahead.
Democrats have run women on their ticket 3 times and lost all 3. The Republicans have run women on their ticket once and lost. That's both before that was run on their ticket. History is really definitely against
Okay. Next question. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, so you add the history to it, and then, again, demographics, think of who's going to be becoming voters, and you have a shifting view of women in top leadership. It just doesn't work on the Republican side. It will work for the Democrats.
Where are you hanging out?
Hold on one second.
This is weird.
No, it's not.
It is. I think you're hanging out with Groypers or something.
In the 2024 election, Trump was literally, I mean, he was laughing the Democrats. So on this, so the Democrats didn't even how it's red pill content and they're incels and all this other. And the reason they're doing that is they're concerned about the men, the single men that are turning against what they put all these years in all the universities and colleges and all of the so-called cosmopolitan lifestyle and all of that is now having the reverse effect. But what you're going to have is as more baby boomers are gone, you're going to start seeing more of this kind of view from a male perspective because of what has occurred in the culture. This is a real concern for a lot of the folks in the media on the left because they lose control and they lose viewership, they lose dollars, they lose advertising clicks.
I'm with Elle. It sounds like we've been hanging out with
This is very weird. This is
Yeah, dude, this is super weird.
like,
I don't particularly want to be.
Well, is it a Republican
this is based on absolute opinions.
Can I be allowed to land? Can I be
You've been talking for 5 minutes.
Can I land, please?
Do it quickly. It's weird.
This is what I'm talking about right here. Thank you for proving my point out.
So what are we just
question. I have a question for you, if I could.
That's all.
The Goypers are fucking taking over the
Does anybody
Republican
hear me talking?
Yeah, it certainly sounded like an argument on the
They're
so
not
he's
taking over
probably
the
hanging out with
Republican
them.
Party. You want them to, but they're not taking over the Republican Party. What you need to know is the Republican Party is very balanced. And when there is fringe, they call out their fringe, unlike the Democrats. They call out their extremes of the Republican side.
That's true.
They don't endorse
Mods, can you hear me? Can I
Republicans
just appreciate a question?
Yeah,
that do bad things. They call them out.
Yeah, we'll go to Moose right after I give my interjection here.
Thank you.
Look, I believe there are women that have been very successful in politics. One is Margaret Thatcher. She was a generational talent. She was raised from a young age with her father in politics. Another one in American politics would be Nancy Pelosi, if she had ever had aspirations to be president. I think she, hold on, Peter. I think she definitely would have had the chance to instead she devoted her entire life and career to being the most powerful woman ever in American politics. Nancy Pelosi, I don't agree with her. However, you have to respect how long she ruled over our country and how she ruled her party with an iron fist. So it's not to say that women can't, become amazing leaders in politics and they've done it in history. What the issue we have is it's largely been chopped down to this idea like, well, we need to have a woman in politics rather than having a strong candidate that happens to be a woman, kind of like a Margaret Thatcher or a Nancy Pelosi. And those are generational talents that come along. Nancy Pelosi was also in politics due to her father. Her father was mayor of Baltimore, right near Washington. They had connections. She was raised in politics, just like Margaret Thatcher was raised in politics. So that tends to be what I see as the commonality. You can't just run a woman to win.
Madeleine Albright.
Ann Armstrong.
Yeah, I can also Dianne Feinstein or RBG, even though I don't agree with her timing of retiring at the Supreme Court. But Christian, my question to you about your concerns of a female candidacy and why the Democrats apparently love them. You said multiple times, I was wondering if you could elaborate. Believe all women. Believe all women. You said that 3 or 4 times. What does that mean, Christian?
It means just that. It means that the feminist and the woman, their position is that if a woman says something, you believe her. And nothing else matters.
Like a scenario, for example, if a woman is sexually assaulted, like believe them no matter what.
Well, right. I mean, that's what they've been pushing. So, I mean, that's what it is.
No, you're entirely meant, so just be honest.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
think that's what you're what was entirely behind that statement, which is why I asked for elaboration. But dang.
Look up.
Do you not remember when they were saying, like, on Facebook, like, women were putting around their profile pictures, like, it says, I believe survivors, like, you know, obviously it's already implied that she's actually a survivor, but that was bullshit.
Hey, Pepe, where are you on the DSA and Democrats in that particular piece? Any thoughts on the title?
Oh, yeah, I'm being dead serious. Like, I do think you need to have something similar to McCarthyism again. Like, these people, I know we have freedom of speech, but I have zero problems with ruining the lives of these radicals. And I want them out of the media. I want them out of entertainment. I want them, and quite frankly, just really cracking down on them hard. I mean, these people fucking hate you. They hate your country. They would have no problem, especially having someone like me face the wall and then having me shot in the fucking head like a dog. They want to destroy this country. They're our fucking enemies. And a lot of people think that and there's actually been studies that show this, but if you look at the view these people will have on the right, they hate you with a fucking passion. Okay, we kind of tolerate them and think they're weird and crazy, but no, they fucking hate you and they absolutely want to destroy your country and kill you. So I would say just you have to go at them with everything, like they're fucking terrorists. You didn't treat the, you know, how did people deal with the Reds in Europe? You had to fucking lock them up or kill them. That's really about it.
Interesting. You can press charges against the few for murder. Is that what you want to do?
What?
Sorry, who said that? Was that Pepe?
Yeah, it's Pepe.
Yeah.
So you want to press charges against the few for murder? Is that what you want to do?
Well, I don't know, but I don't. What did you do?
Who said that we should get rid of the media for?
Oh, I said that.
Yeah, so
No. I said we should purge. We should purge the.
people are in charge of murder. What you said these people want to kill you. What you said. So should we arrest the people for murder charges?
No. What I'm saying is you don't let them have a, like with McCarthyism, you did have a lot of left-wing, basically communist sympathizers that were in Hollywood. They basically shut them the fuck up. The media, they didn't give the media any wiggle room. You basically have to do the same thing by any means. Like these people are fucking terrorists, dude. They everything you fucking love about your country, everything you stand for. And the unfortunate part about conservatives is that they're a bunch of fucking pussies. Sure. And they care so much about their fucking rights. But no, these people fucking hate you. You have to play different with them. You have to be very unfair with them.
I don't think Pepe's completely off.
You go to the stockholders meeting and ask this and bitch about this?
No, I mean, that's why I'm saying, there has to be real team.
We still have a law in the books. We know that. We still have a law to outlaw them. The Communist Control Act is still 1954.
Do I believe in freedom of speech? How did that work out for us, letting all of these left-wing faggots into academia, where they completely fucking took over? How's it working with the media? How is it working when they're censoring everybody in 2020? I'm not taking away anybody's First Amendment right. I basically just think they should have no fucking power. I prefer that they're shut the fuck up. And yes, I'm 100% for using lawfare. Absolutely.
The law is there. I keep saying it. There's a law to outlaw it.
Right.
It's on our books.
Abby, when was the last time that was used? Do you know? Okay. Maybe you should look that up.
But I put the law in the chat.
Okay, yeah, we'll look that up. Mr. Scott, how are you? This evening or afternoon?
Great. Good to see you.
Yeah, definitely. What do you make of the title and where you fall with the Dems, DSA, and MAGA? Like, who's the front runners you see at this moment?
I'm a Democrat. I think the DSA is largely. I think most people. It's very interesting because Steve Bannon said this on the right. Frank Reich has said this on the left. The commentary goes on the right. And all have the same thread. I think they're largely correct. That people are just voting for change, and the Democrats don't seem like change because they're so milquetoasty. No one, they're just. I mean, Democratic parties, but approval rating is lower than Trump's, and so I think because these people get up there and they say what they mean and mean what they say, and they say we're going to try to do it, I think we're like, all right, let's do that. And the average voter doesn't think about, the low inflation voter, he doesn't think about policy and understand the difference between Michael Harrington, DSA, and these folks closer to Marxism and stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's interesting that Bernie Sanders is consistently popular. He used to be more popular, and his democratic socialism included no identitarianism, right? I mean, the guy just was not part of that sort of identitarian left. That's what's changing. I mean, the DSA is now, it's not just this sort of redistribution agenda, but it's you have to sort of be on the far end of, it's cliche, but woke leftism and stuff like that. So I think the degree to which that affects the party, I don't think universal health care, I mean, you look, Medicare for all was at like 68%, right? I mean, but it's the cultural stuff that will kill the Democratic Party. If the Democratic Party continues to get dragged left on cultural issues, that's going to be bad. Hi there.
Then if you agree, I just want to say real quick, I completely 1,000% agree with.
Talking to somebody else then.
Scott trying to order a chicken McNugget sandwich.
I thought no, it's in my neck of the woods.
I just said it. I completely 1,000% agree with Scott. Nobody gives a shit about policy except the nerds on Clubhouse, listening to Ban and neoliberal and some others, go on about the policy. In fact, they don't care about that shit. All these people care about is that they can't afford health care and rent, and the mortgage is too high, and they can't get the house that they want. The car payments and the insurance is too high. My car insurance, I'm gonna tell y'all something personal. My car insurance went from about $350 a month. We got a Jeep. My wife has a 23 GB70 Genesis, and I have a 2019 Volvo S90. Nothing fancy, okay? When my daughter turned 16 a couple of months ago, my car insurance went from $350 to $700 a month, just overnight. Just next payment, they didn't even tell me. Just $700. I get why these people are so upset. And then when you add in, as I always say, the advent of AI and humanoid robots and the complexity in the job market, which I was just in, and it was a much tougher hoe than I thought it would be. I understand why these people are pissed off. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Hey guys, can I just finish? I'm so sorry. I'm doing a shuttle job for the U.S. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. We had
Bill in for you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I said I think that the cultural stuff will kill the Democratic Party, at least right now. I mean, it's just the further we get dragged left. And if I were the Republicans, I would just put quotes from El Sayed and some of these other folks. I'd play that Fox News interview where that woman's like, "Yeah, abolish the police. Yeah, abolish prison." I would run that on a loop if I were Republicans, just all day. I would run that stuff, just like they did in my state with Kamala. When they did those ads, I'm in Pennsylvania, they did those ads where wine became Anita in jail. And those ads were incredibly effective during these games, let me tell you. For the Republicans, I think the question is Trump fatigue. Like, by 2028, will people have Trump fatigue, right? So everybody says it's Vance or Rubio, Vance or Rubio. But if the war in Iran continues to be unpopular and it looks like Quagmire-ish, I think that you might want somebody that's not at all associated with the administration. Look at Spencer Cox.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Hey, Emma, it's John.
The Google subscriber you have called is not available. Please.
Let's try this one more time.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying.
Obama, he dumped that war on him.
So, like, here's some quotes. Like, this is a quote, I want the total eradication of Western civilization and death to America.
Sorry, the mailbox is full and there is not enough.
So you guys look at it. See if it's already a problem.
At this point.
Like these people fucking hate you and your and everything you stand for. And so a lot of these dick sucking fucking third world roller girls, why do we take them seriously?
Well.
Please leave your message for 8477.
Hold on, just real fast. The reality is, Iran's a pretty heavily updated country. We had world global security issues and reasons to want to be invested in the area. There was a war between the Brits and the Russians, but before the Soviets fell and the communist revolution. There's a long history in Iran that makes sense why they're angry. Like that's just true.
Well, no, I know, I totally realize, but obviously they're not happy now because they're being rolled by the Ayatollah. I'm against us having ever gotten in a conflict with them. I'm not supporting the conflict.
Actually, to be honest, what we did made sense. And the funny part is they hate the Shah, but when
Tell them, Peter.
It's funny because they hate the Shah, but when you look back, the Shah was great, actually. And I don't know.
Not really. He was kind of a scummy piece of shit. He's just a lot better than the Ayatollah.
Well, what I mean is that Iran was functioning at a much higher clip. Like, in fact, we were funding their nuclear research. We were trying to get them.
You don't need the game anymore. Wake it up, Peter. Wake it up.
What do you think people are really thinking about when they go to vote? Do you think they're thinking about Iran? Or they're thinking about their paycheck? Do you think they're thinking about? Wait a minute. Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Hold on. Scott's comment about Juan to Juanita at an Eagles game. I forgot about that. Like, what do you think? You run those ads right before an election during football season. You don't think that's going to affect people's vote?
Well, I do.
A lot more than.
But I think Trump hasn't really done anything
so loosely connected to that thing, but they hung that around her neck, man, in Pennsylvania. I mean, you would have thought from that ad that she did the reassignment surgery. I mean, that ad was so effective.
The answer is for 2028 James Carville. It's the economy, stupid. And that's how they're going to vote. If this war lingers and we got inflation and we got $4 gas and $5.50 diesel, hands down, Democrats. And it's going to happen in 26.
We are 500,000 less population.
Well, I think that the Trump just kind of basically, that's like one of the big reasons why it's a part of the reason why people are mad about what Trump did. Because I don't see how that helps us in the midterms. He had a chance to make things better economically, but he wanted to focus on something else.
The House has lost. The
He
Senate.
kind of had to be honest, because in his first term, he ripped up the deal. It made sense. It was a bad deal.
He didn't have to do anything.
Well, no, because what you could say is he shouldn't have ripped up the deal, which I understand. I used to have
He
the same
didn't rip
decision.
it up. He just left it. The deal was still going. We just left the deal. He didn't rip up the deal. We just exited as a country out of it.
The ripping up is the fact that
the deal continued with the other countries.
He refroze their assets.
We didn't have to do anything with Iran.
So just to finish what I was saying, right? For those who don't know, to clarify, Trump re-sanctioned them and refroze their assets. Now, I think that was a good idea. I'm mad. You do the math, bro. Hold on, just real fast. Let me finish because this is actually really important to talk about, right? If you do the math on how much money Iran got from the Iran deal, it's like an extra $120 billion. It's kind of insane. And there's no evidence it went towards their economy or their infrastructure at all. So where'd it go? It went into their military. And so it was a really bad deal. I get why Trump came in and said, fuck this, and immediately, and so
that had nothing to do with why he did it.
Actually, a week before he did it was after Netanyahu did the announcement of the bunker full of the abandoned warehouse full of nuclear archives and hundreds of thousands of data files and information on how to construct a nuke and stuff. And mind you, at the same time,
convenient?
Mind you, but it's real, bro. And at the same time, mind you, they were lying to us. Now, our intelligence knew what they were lying about. It was almost like a game of like imagine I'm spying on you and I know everything, but I'm still waiting on you to disclose locations. And they were hiding stuff from us, and we're like, okay,
yeah, but what we did was stupid. First of all, it's one thing to attack their sites and deplete their, basically make them have to do a hard reset again. Generally, Iran will attack a little bit after you do that. It's limited. But when we take it steps further and we start bombarding a whole lot more, and then personally picking off the leadership.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, now they took their gloves off, and of course they're not capable of much, but they can make everybody's life much harder.
No, I think we got hurt a little bit, and I think Americans are spoiled. Just hear me out, right? They're a real global threat. That's not a joke. We're so far away from it, we get to take it for granted. But no, that's actually not sustainable. And we have to remember they're allied with
What's not sustainable?
They're allied with Russia and China.
So what?
It affects our petrodollar, which is literally how our currency stays police. Just let me get to
Jesus Christ.
Hold on, just let me get to what I'm saying, right? So Iran with the nuclear weapon is a whole different view of global terror.
So what, they weren't going to have a fucking nuclear weapon?
Hold on, that's not necessarily true.
It is
I
true.
think, just to let me get this out, I actually think Israel and America Israel deserves more credit. I hate that they're being demonized. The Gaza situation is different.
It's them who did it. I mean,
hold on. The Gaza situation is
You
different,
hate
but
that Israel's being demonized?
Hold on, the Gaza situation is different, but they actually systematically wiped out Iran's nuclear scientist division. Like, it's actually brilliant. When you look into it, they systematically...
So what? Nobody cares that they did that. Nobody cares.
But that matters for geopolitical security.
Okay, but nobody is... They are not going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz and start launching rockets at all of our fucking bases because the Mossad ends up killing their scientists. We've been doing that shit for decades.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's about making sure they can't get nuclear warheads because they already have ICBMs that can hit Europe. We don't want Iran.
We know that
they're going to do it. By the way, it doesn't mean they're going to do it.
Peter, get in there.
They're going to do it.
This was about regime change. Like, this is fucking retarded.
Exactly. No, first of all, it's two things. One, it's about making sure they don't have nukes. Two,
that's a bullshit. No, that was a bullshit excuse. It's not exact. That's
not a bullshit excuse. That's literally what the main concern was, and you don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking? Okay, first of all, I don't know if you know this. There's a lot of people. There's at least a few people leaking, and there's a lot of people that are publicly saying that they need to find them. They need to be prosecuted. And to be fair, that's. What they're leaking is pretty fucking insane. But when it comes to why he attacked, it had nothing to do with the nuclear weapons.
No, it actually literally. So you can just think it's all theater, and I'm not even going to hold that against you. But personally, I don't think it's theater.
when they, a week before he gets out of the deal, show evidence that they were not only concealing locations, which the IAEA just confirmed again, but that they had a bunker full of the archives of how they could construct a nuke. And it's actually, the timeline proves the case, because Trump says, you know what, we're out of the deal. A couple months later, they say, we're going to start enriching. Less than a year later, they say we're at 60% enrichment. You can't enrich that fast, not to 60%. And the scary part is, you can look this up, from 60% to weapons grade 99 is days to weeks. So in other words, in days to weeks, they theoretically would have had nuclear capable uranium enrichment. In days to weeks.
It's called threshold capacity. That's the term.
I've heard that like spun in the media, but like when you the experts all thought that, because there's a bunch of other things that went. First of all, we don't even know if they have access to the enriched uranium at this point. But there's no proof that it was destroyed. But we don't have any. In other words, it's unlikely they actually have the ability to even further enrich it at this point.
Yeah, we still have to go in and get it.
That's fine. I mean, but why would you kill off the Ayatollah? Like, if you're just trying to get rid of their nuclear capability.
Oh, because they're terrorist nut jobs.
We know they are. But if causing the strikes causes more problems than it solves, then why do it?
I think the Hormuz situation is just a little bit of pain, and we get through it. It sucks, but it's just going to be a blip in the radar. Look, Iraq and Afghanistan was horrible, and we got over it. I don't know. It's when you look at the broader implications, it's a big deal. That's just how I see it now. I used to be on the other side. I used to think, the deal was good enough, and this is the last thing America needs, and our economy can't take it. And it's like, nah, it's not that simple. It's like Saudi Arabia is one of our major allies in the region. It's our petrodollar. They're being threatened by Iran. Like, immediately Iran bombed them. Like, they were one of their first targets, so they even know that. And they bombed the Dubai and stuff. What the fuck is it? The UAE.
We know this. One of the people that was encouraging Trump to actually do the strikes was actually the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Because they understand that they are unstable whack job.
They're not necessarily. They're ancient enemies.
They are unstable whack job.
I don't even think they're unstable. They're enemies. They're adversaries. They have a religious ideology, and they also have a philosophical ideology. They call America Great Satan and Israel Little Satan, or is it the other way around? Can't remember. We're both.
North Korea says all kinds of shit. I really didn't give a fuck less.
But North Korea is not ideologically or religiously motivated, and it makes a world of difference, because
it really does.
The thought that they could literally bring about, some sort of religious end of times, like, this is the shit they believe.
All right, and you think they can do that? I think it got that.
They think they can, not
we
me.
Would bring.
They think
I'm sure they think they can. I think they know that if they tried something like that, we would end up bringing an end to Iran, and they would no longer exist.
But honey, they don't care. That's my point. They are.
That won't be my problem either.
They are a death cult. Yes.
Yes, then they can die. Not my fucking problem.
Thank you. Yes, before they get a nuke.
Yeah, bomb them before they get a nuke. Otherwise, we don't need to be over there.
To New York, they would send it head on top of your head. We need to be for international terrorists.
I mean, I think there's. I mean, quite frankly. The reality is that Israel's capable of paying for the war and having a 100% enlistment. I don't care if half of their population dies fighting the war. Then I'll say we'll match your troops. Otherwise, we don't do it. It's not our fucking problem.
I hear you, but I actually disagree 1,000%. And Israel's really one of our biggest allies on this. And I'm actually
don't care. They wanted this war more than anybody. They have to put skin in the game. That's just how it works.
Pepe, it's mutually beneficial. Our allies
do not care.
No, you don't understand because you don't even realize how much it matters that our dollar is the reserve currency. You know, in the last 20 years...
This has nothing to do with the petrodollar.
Yes, it does.
This
We're
is so
fighting
fucking
against
stupid.
communists, bro.
This has nothing to do with the petrodollar.
Yes, it does. Well, just
no, it doesn't.
Yes, it... Please hear me out.
That's
just,
so
I'm
low
gonna give
IQ,
you 20
dude.
seconds. Just give me 15, 20 seconds. Because you don't have to agree, but just understand. So the idea is it's capitalism versus communism. The reason this matters is because communism is a form of communism is a form of totalitarian control of a market, which means we can't even bind prices and you can't own private property.
Yeah, but the Iranians are not. They're not
No,
communists. They're fucking ideologues.
No, it's not just hear me out. China is a real threat because they're doing currency manipulation, IP theft. They're literally stealing. Yeah. They're stealing the benefits of capitalism without having to actually utilize it. They're a real market threat, and they're allied with Iran for a reason. Iran sells them cheap oil, like dirt fucking cheap oil, while we have them sanctioned. Right? So all of these things come together, and Saudi Arabia is supporting the petrodollar, which is propping up our dollar.
Definition of public corruption. But staying with Warren, Art. Warren, if Nolan is your brother and best friend,
dust in me that's woo. I've had a lot of in-depth conversations with my AI about the state of cheating. And I've kind of spitballed back and forth with it about what it thinks, you know, in terms of this policy I'm doing and how I can tighten it or whatever. For the most part, it's kind of, you know, it's a little helpful, but not too much.
The oil as ransom and getting what they want from all these countries. Like we can't allow this. So I mean, and that's the whole. And if you go back in the history, and hold on 1 second, one more. I'll end here. When you in history and you track how much the oil and the markets and all of that. The timing of when the oil went up was right around the amount of time or that time period where Iran began to ascend into what it once was until Trump just did what he did. So I mean, I get that people have the idea of war and all this other stuff, and I'm not oblivious. Yeah, it's a fraction of the base and. It is what it is, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, and you know, and that's where time kind of will tell on this. If that oil that we end up that we already have harvested goes into the market and it drives down the overall cost, I mean, this little fraction of the base. You'll start to see those people say, oh, okay, this is what it was really about. And so now that we have that as leverage, it makes more sense then. But it's not going to make sense in the short term. It's going to make sense in the long term.
Yeah.
There's no
evidence to say. The Iran is funding Hezbollah, Houthi, Hamas, and works with the Taliban.
Yes, we all know that.
But that matters.
Okay, but here's the thing: Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. So that right there shows why they're Israel's number one problem. Why they want this problem. They want this problem taken care of far more than everybody else. This was lit.
You don't think Hezbollah is the U.S.'s problem, Pepe? Hezbollah is in Latin America. Like, do you not realize the reach of Hezbollah?
That's a very bottom line.
How many major
threat coming out of Venezuela was coming from Hezbollah.
And they're jihadists. They're like legit.
Yeah, I get they're jihadists. I get it.
But look at what they were doing in Venezuela. And they were running people into the United States. They had like a factory set up to do fake IDs and passports to bring them in across the border to the U.S. I mean, they're all over Latin America. They have a drug running cartels. This is Hezbollah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I get all that. I'm not. I mean, quite frankly, I look at them as a pain in our ass, but not an ass. I don't look at them as the same as, or even, I don't look at them on the same page as like ISIS, for example. I think they were a whole different animal. They directly wanted to go into Christian countries and fucking cause mass carnage. Hezbollah, they have a hard-on for...
Has
they have a
blown
hard-on
up.
for Israel, really.
How about U.S. soldiers? How about U.S. embassies? Hezbollah. You forgetting
when
all
we've
that?
gotten involved in the Middle East, in their neighborhoods,
They started in the 80s. They started in the 80s. They blew up how many Marines in Lebanon, and then the U.S. embassy, and then in Saudi Arabia.
But they do that. They target. At least when it comes to Americans. When it comes to Americans, they generally will target our military or our government personnel, and they only really do it whether it was in Iraq during the Shia Sunni civil war, and then when Hezbollah was trying to take control over Lebanon.
They target.
They really don't.
No. They target civilians and merchant ships, and they don't fucking care. They are basically, they're just fucking terrorists. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the military or not.
When did Hezbollah attack merchant
jihadists. You can't undersell how much that
Houthis. They're all funded by Iran.
Yeah, the Houthis
Yeah, they're funded by Iran. Yes.
You said Hezbollah.
Hezbollah and Hamas are funded by Iran.
All three of them are. We know this. This is common knowledge.
This is why it matters. Thank you.
Okay, it matters to Israel more than who did they exist to fight? Saudi Arabia and Israel.
It matters
so
to
fucking
us.
stupid.
We don't agree because it absolutely fucking matters.
I know because you suck Jewish dick and you get that's what all your friends online.
I hope so. God, let me know when. I'm excited. I didn't know that, but I will. I will get right on that dick though.
So Pepe, let me cook with you real quick. So I get it, right? I used to be on the APAC Zionism train too. I did a lot of deep diving into it. And look, I still think it's a messy situation, but I can't lie. I really fuck with Israel now. I think that they're really a victim of like Russian and Eastern propaganda to make them look bad. I think there's like a global South versus the West war going on right now. I don't even begrudge those actors. It all makes sense. Everyone's doing game theory.
I get it. But I realize all of
the last thing I'll say, the consequences, Israel's like legitimately an ally to America. It's not one-sided. They help protect our interests in the region. We funded the coup in Iran. It has nothing to do with them. That's our mess. Hello? Like, think about that. We went up to the beehive and whacked it. So, come on, man. When your ally is being bombed every fucking day from the north, from the east, from the south, at some point you got to go, I'm going to help out my ally.
I mean, at some point, you know, if I'm like 4 foot tall and I'm always hanging out with Shaquille O'Neal, which is America, and I'm flexing my muscles, making threats, declaring what a big fucking tough guy I am, and one day I run my fucking mouth. Shaquille O'Neal wasn't looking, and he bitch slapped me across the fucking room. That is my fault. Israel needs to learn its fucking place. It is not our fucking job to protect them, first of all, and they can have all of the ambitions that they want. But they have to realize, at this time, they're that little itty-bitty bitch. They don't have the numbers. Yeah, they're technologically advanced, have a well-trained military, but they're not the U.S., they're not France, they're not the U.K. If they think that they can try to pull strings on a global level like one of us, they can't. And we should not entertain them. That's what every president has done in the past. They'd pat them on the head and they'd say, okay, well, I don't think we can support you for that, son, but keep on going along. You'll be okay. It's fucking stupid. And it's like the amount of corruption and fucking retardation you get with a fat, glib piece of shit like Donald Trump, that he was dumb enough, or I should say corrupt enough, to go along with this. It's fucking stupid. We know who our enemies are.
No,
yes, their enemies are our enemies too. But they're way more their enemies than ours.
Trump's been saying he's worried about Iran.
No, Pepe, they've been hostile to our interests for 47 years. They've been hostile to our interests since the Shah was toppled and the Ayatollah was put in place. They killed in the time, like between now and 1979, they killed something like 2,000 U.S. servicemen and something like 4,000 American civilians. And they have done it with impunity, and they have done it for decades.
Exactly.
Just because they're not attacking our homeland doesn't mean it's not in America.
They haven't done it with impunity.
He said a key word: impunity.
They didn't do it with impunity.
I think it's impunity. What did we do? Respond back and recap their Navy in a day in '87? Like, what else did we do?
Oh yeah, but so that military leader there that they did the precision Jinsu bomb on.
You're talking about.
There were several. There were several people that were killed in the IRGC. See, and then and then of course you have to understand that yes, there was. You could say people funded and trained and armed by the IRGC were involved. They were heavily involved in the civil war in Iraq, and both sides, the Sunni insurgents and the Shias, were engaging with U.S. soldiers and caused U.S. troop casualties. We know that there's the rockets that Iran would send to the bases. Then of course the Marine barracks bombing. Like we all know that.
Towers bombing.
But for an everyday American, this is where the difference is.
Soil.
But here's the difference. Okay, so they will literally. Iran has no problem, and they probably smile from ear to ear, get an erection when they see that indiscriminate rockets that they fund fall down and hit a random Israeli citizen. They probably loved watching all those people get butchered on October 7th. That's what they do to Israel. They've not seen them do that to any Western power. That has not been there. And now when it comes to the Sunni terrorists,
in the
they
chat.
absolutely
It's taking
do
me
that.
a long time because there's so much to put in. So I'm doing it bit by bit on all of the acts that we have so far up from Hezbollah alone. That's just one of the proxies. I'm just going to keep putting more and more in the chat. You can see what they've done worldwide since they were.
Yeah, worldwide terrorism. Haven't they done terrorism in Europe? I could have sworn they did like bus bombings and shit.
Yes, all over the world.
Hezbollah? I mean, Iran?
Even if it wasn't Hezbollah, they're funded by Iran. 9/11 funded by Iran.
I know some of the group.
But the people, the terrorists that, I think of all of the terrorists, if you think of all of the terrorists we've had.
They have public titles in Iran. Those terrorists right now have public titles. They are, for example, security national of the country and counselor of the supreme leader, Mohsen Rezai, who was accused of bombing the Jewish community in 1994.
No, I mean, it's a shame what they did to the Jews in Argentina, but it's not the job of Americans to avenge the death of Argentine Jews. But when it comes to all of the attacks you can think of, all of the major terrorist attacks that you can think of that happened in Europe, the first ones that will come to mind, whether it's the Twin Towers, these are all Sunni Muslims. And I'm sure most of you understand this. They fucking hate Shia Muslims like Hezbollah with a passion. ISIS would literally make a fucking video of them slitting the throat of every goddamn Hezbollah or Shia militiaman that they end up coming in contact with. They hate each other with a fucking passion. They're two completely different groups of people. And it's the Sunnis that have been nonstop attacking us. They're the fucking radicals that you see going around raping little fucking girls in the UK, not Hezbollah.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, anyone who's a jihadist doing terrorism is already like, and I get it. We don't need to go putting out every single fire in the world, but fires that threaten our special interests, that support our economy, that affect our allies, like that's just what we're gonna do. And to the I also, to be honest, personally, I don't like it. I don't know, call me egotistical or prideful. I don't think it's good business for you to have global superpower status and you got belligerent states running their mouth doing all kinds of wild shit. Talking about, oh, I'm going to fire off rockets to boats that are passing by. Oh, I'm gonna kill random civilians. Like that's fucking bad for business. It's
Okay, but they
inappropriate.
did that after we struck them and killed their leadership. They didn't.
No, I get it. Listen, but you gotta understand. I've grown so much as a person. No, hear me out. I've grown so much as a person. I've come from someone who was pretty far left, and now when I look about it, I go, those leaders were fucking narcissistic psychopaths. Imagine Rome shows up at your door. Hold on, let me finish. Imagine Rome shows up at your door and they give you two options. Options A, you become Saudi Arabia. You're fucking rich and just play ball. Option B, it's fucking war. And they start talking about, oh, the Lord told me it's a holy war and I'm allowed to wipe out my whole civilization in defense against Satan. What? But meanwhile, their history is conquering the world in the name of their God. So it's cool.
Okay, but you don't know who you're talking to.
Last thing I want to say. So it's cool when the Muslim Empire does imperialism. It's cool when they take over Africa and have the world's biggest African slave trade. It's cool when they do all that expansionism. But now they're going to act like it's some fucking holy war in America and the West is Satan. I don't want to hear it.
Sure, but unlike most of the conservatives in here, and definitely the liberals, because they're a bunch of fucking pussies, if I had my way, if I had a way to vote to have Muslims kicked out of our fucking country and to never allow them to immigrate here, I would literally
do that far. I'm just talking about Iran right now.
Okay, well, you see, I'm much further to the right when it comes to not wanting a bunch of fucking Muslims in my country.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's wait, hold on. Peter, so David, hold on, Mountain. Hold on. So, David, Mountain, please. that is the position of the base, David. That we want aggressive immigration policy. Policy that stops not only legal immigration, but even illegal immigration. That's what we want. Okay. So you don't have any disagreement with the base on that. That's where we are with it. And in fact, people like me and many others want to see Trump doing more stronger policy, like literally having Stephen Miller to do the policy from the White House on immigration.
What does that look like? What does that actually look like in practice?
Marshall, please.
Tell me what that looks like in practice.
Marshall, please. So the issue, like I said earlier, is, and this is kind of what Truth kind of alluded to right now, is that the everyday citizen is not going to care about all this bull crap about how how all these talking heads have gone on television claiming that they're foreign policy experts and all these people who just go on TV talking. Those people we detest. So you're absolutely right about that. But what Truth is talking about, when we look at just from a practicality standpoint, no, we don't want some random nation blowing up things or basically blowing up ships that would cause the cost of oil or the cost of gas or a higher cost of living. We don't want that. So, and that's why I say what we've seen thus far is not going to be understood today in 2026. It's going to take time for this to fully materialize. And then when people really fully understand, because again, they got to see it hit their bank account. They got to see it hit their gas tank. They have to see it hit their insurance costs. Because remember, insurance goes up too because of all of these terrorist actions that we see. So this is going to take time. It's not going to be you got bad feedback. It's not going to be a quick 5-second news media cycle. No. Those are the old days, the Bushes and the Cheneys and the McCains and all those people. No. This is a much more.
You're advocating the same shit they do.
Excuse me.
No, you are.
Marshall,
You're advocating for an interventionist foreign policy in the exact same way that the George W. Bush administration did. And you're pretending to be different. You're not.
I don't need your help. Thank you.
I didn't say you needed my help. I'm just saying you're not being honest.
Excuse me. Okay. So paper. All I'm trying to say is, many of us understand what your position is on this, but all that we're saying is there's a larger picture than the war hawk, than the Boeing and all of the big military companies who profit off of all of this stuff, and the people who profit off of the guns and the ammo. We get all of that, but what we're concerned about though is that Strait of Hormuz and the cost of everything going up. That's what matters. I'm landing.
Well, I just think it's really disappointing. You had this Muslim that won a primary. You're getting. I look at these people. Once you've reached the conclusion that, well, we have to sit down and talk to them. We have to. This is a democracy. We must. Meet heads and work with each other. You've already lost. These people are not interested in doing that to you. They don't care about you and your gay fucking Western country. They think it's fucking funny. They think it's something to be fucking raped. I mean, the fact that, I don't even know what happened to our country. It would have been common fucking sense 80 years ago if you were to say these fucking apes that, that are taking over places like Dearborn, Michigan, are people we need to even fucking acknowledge or entertain. We wouldn't. We'd look down on them, as we should. They have a very inferior fucking culture that is completely incompatible with ours. And it's just so disgusting to listen to all of these including a lot of people in this room, a bunch of fucking pussies that are not, just have these really, they have this weakened fucking state of mind when looking at everything.
I think you take it way too far, but regardless, the point was just that Iran is a clear threat. They have an ideological threat. They have beef, and they have valid beef. They have theory. They have enough energy and momentum to
This is not a valid beef.
and the leadership. Like take Venezuela. Venezuela is a perfect example. These people are suffering, but the rich live in crazy opulence. So when we even put sanctions on the country, they'll scapegoat the sanctions. But they let their people start because they don't care about their people. And so, I don't know. I'm sympathetic, but at the same time, I don't really give a fuck. I'm America first. I want America to win. I want America to be in a position of power. And fundamentally, you cannot have belligerent states running their yuck mouth, allying with communists, trying to circumvent the dollar. Fuck out of here. And the only way we can't push harder is because the country has gone soft. These are very trivial. Like people aren't even pushing this hard enough. You could just help. I think the problem politicians are so used to lying to Americans that they can't even just come out and tell the fucking truth. Why even lie about weapons of mass destruction? Why not just fucking tell the truth? Why even do that? We're all smart enough to get our own self-interest. You can come out and say, oh, we're doing this for global security purposes. These people are regional threats. We can't stand them having too much power. They're allied with a communist Russia, which is funding revolutions around the globe, direct desire to fuck with us. They literally did it to Cuba, a fucking island right off the coast of the country.
You're talking about Soviet Union versus Russia.
They're infiltrating our universities.
Russia's not doing that,
bro.
Yes,
let people fucking talk, you dirty faggot.
There are multiple intelligence reports that shows they even sent pregnant women to our country. Are you nuts? Russia sent pregnant women.
Okay, Russia's
away from giving birth to this country.
But the whole thing when it comes to university is more of a Chinese strategy. The Russians,
yeah, they do it too.
There's a lot of espionage, but it tends to be more cultural and heavily with social media and information warfare that way, but not. But it's not.
He doesn't listen. He just talks because it feels like he used to be the only voice. He never shuts the fuck up.
Well, it's just
you're a fucking retard.
Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. But yeah, so Pepe, everyone's doing it. But Russia cracked that door first. That's the Cold War. That's literally, and that's not a
It is not
dumb
cold
group of people.
anymore. It is
That's
cold
not a
now.
dumb group of people. These are
Well,
people who
let's
peered
go
into
to the
space
second
and were the
floor.
only other state to develop their own nuke.
Yes, but you're talking about the height of the Soviet Union. Comparing that to Russia today is silly.
Hold on. In modern day, it turns into a higher level of war. And the campaigns where they push this socialism and communism, but blend it into. Do you know, like, Russia was on the record supporting Black Panther, supported all the
yes,
of course,
supported all the.
What's the point?
Yes, we know what they do.
So my point is to say, you have to understand, they're in our universities.
They're still doing it. They're not necessarily in our universities. They're doing it. They use their propaganda mainly online today.
Yeah, that's just one of their tentacles. But yes, and so I say this to say, right? It's bigger than what we're making it out to be, and I trust the people who are like in the room to make those calls. They're seeing that on a way higher level we'll ever see it, bro. And they're just trying to protect America's interests. Like that, I when I was younger, I used to get caught up in all this. Oh, everyone. So it's like, no, bro.
Okay, but respectfully, you're talking about yourself that used to be a part of the more like leftist or progressive people. We do not have the same problems. I never shared that problem.
Well, no, it wasn't about the fact that I was coincidentally on the left. That rather I bought into the narratives that was populism. Because populism always does this. Oh, the elite don't represent the interests of the common man. It's like, yeah, because fuck the common man. Literally, the origin of this.
I'm not talking about but even then, I was not talking about the elites. I'm talking about this is geopolitical. This has nothing to do with the wealthy.
Hold on, just real quick. The origin of this country, what made it great, being blunt, was that it was elitist and classist as fuck. You had to be a white man who owned land to vote.
Okay.
A man who land, and that was because Hamilton, the dude who framed our economy, was like, no, we can't just be having anybody have their opinion matter. Like, if you can't,
that's true. I agree with that.
You know, like, so the heritage of this country is trust elitism. Now I get it. Day populism pushes back against that, but I'm like, wait, why? Because if we trust meritocracy, who the fuck else is in the driver's seat if not the best one to drive? You think everyone's
okay? But what does this have to do with Iran?
Because so in 2000, we wanted to go to war. You can look this up. We actually had like $15 million computer simulation. A computer simulation running Red Team, Blue Team, us versus Iran in 5 years from 2000. Like if we were to go to war with 2002, if we were to go to war with them, and what it would look like. And everything we did in the Middle East was to eventually go to war with Iran. And that's when Obama came in, but then instead those wars and gave us the deal. But we were supposed to close it out with Iran. This is a problem that we identified has not gone away. And over time, what do you think China and Korea China has its own space company now that's comparable to SpaceX. This is not going away. You can't just dust this.
So then why wouldn't we just attack China?
No, you don't get it.
Oh no, but it's all about attacking our enemies, and well, they're your enemy. They are. China probably is the biggest, largest existential threat to the United States. Why wouldn't we just go ahead and just go directly attack? I know the fucking answer.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Can't think. I can't think, bro.
China has nukes. That's why we can't attack China. China
hormones choked you out. You choked out by hormones. You need to release the hormones.
Look, the hormone situation will probably get resolved.
I don't get why the monitor Cafe just like overtalk everybody. It's ridiculous.
Okay, what does Squiggly want to say? I see Squiggly over there. What did you say?
Squigglier. Squigglier. Yeah, what do you want to say, Squigglier?
Squigglier. Yeah, you, whatever.
No, you're Squigglier. I'm Squigglier and you're Squigglier.
You're Squigglier. Your mustache is Squigglier.
You're Squigglier than me.
Yeah.
What did you want to say? I didn't hear what you're saying.
I just said that the U.S. economy is propped up by Saudi Arabian cheap oil, Saudi Arabian, UAE, Qatari cheap oil.
Yes, sir.
And investments in stock market and bonds, U.S. bonds. So
true.
you have that's your children. Those are your babies. So you need to protect the babies.
Buy chocolate. Don't forget that.
Okay, now
yeah, exactly.
Mountain, you want to go? Let's give Mountain some space. Don't interrupt him. Go ahead, Mountain.
the grocery store. I was actually just trying to get caught up in the conversation, but I was wanting other people to talk besides the pet. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to defend other people.
Have you opined on the title at all or no? On top.
Yeah, I have a little bit.
I don't think I heard any. What did you say about DSA? I'm curious to hear what you think. Is it a real thing? What do you got?
What's DSA? What is it?
Democratic Socialists of America.
Take a look at the top. Read
about the socialist.
Mountain, take a look at all those comments at the top and try to react to them. That would be
I
good.
will go ahead. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute up and get caught up, and you guys go do your thing. I'll be back.
Sounds good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, but in a bit, I was, maybe soon I want to talk about the arsonists that are happening, like up here where my mom lives. The Spokane area, 2 arsonists got caught. One of them got caught. He admitted to lighting all the fires up in Spokane, and 25 last year. Another woman admitted to lighting a dozen of them. And there was another person that was caught lighting fires, and they haven't caught him yet. But there's some weird arsonist shit going on around the country I'd like to talk about sometime, but I don't want to take the second.
Yeah, we can circle back around. You guys are experiencing kind of similar to what we had in LA down here. And I believe both were arson. So I think Adams could speak on that too. But
we have that going on in Indiana.
Yeah, NorCal too, for the last 4 years.
Is the Bay Area right now getting hit with any fires?
The last 3 or 4 years, it's been all up here, Sierra Nevada, by Tahoe, stretching all the way over like Orville and Paradise Fire, and like all these fires are super controversial, and we're just